The Deep Talk with Mr. Henry.
Imagine living two lives. One, you're extremely famous. Sharing a stage with Wiz Khalifa, Kanan, which other guys?
Manifest, Wu-Tang, Lupe Fiasco, Method Man.
Yes.
Actually,
Macklemore. Before he becomes famous, and now your life turns around and you become a gospel. You start speaking and preaching about God. But you say even before you made that turn, Karim, the faith was there.
Yeah, the faith was there. It was
the Bad Boys didn't recruit you, Universal Music.
Yeah, because I mean, I felt I was bad, but I realized I wasn't that bad. Because when we reach those things, I wasn't one of those people who was ready to do anything to get. And when you're that side, you see the real effects of deciding or making that decision, and you wake up tomorrow and everything has changed. Looks like you've ended generational curses. What? Because you now have access. You're the guy. You're the don.
At some point in life, did you like sit down and be like, why did I just go for these things?
Every time I think like that, man, I actually stop and I'm like, oh, thank God, man. Because the thing that you see now, for me, as someone in the arts, I also feel like I have a personal responsibility and a personal affiliation with people in the arts. Diddy is not a rare thing. I just put it like that. Funny things in the entertainment industry. And I know people talk about them, but for me, I don't just like more people. There are more people here. If everyone's data in entertainment came out today,
yes,
all of it, like you would look at all your people certain like all the data came out, you would not manage. You get? So I thank God that, man, that's not the data that is on me, man. I kind of like that.
Exactly.
Kawa in that department, Yeah, but what I will say is, it definitely made it feel a bit hopeless, because at the time you wondered that, so are you saying the devil is the only way that you can access success, in this thing? It definitely, there was that. So for one, actually, when I switched, I was Ruyonga, I was preaching, and number one, my guys were still my guys, but it wasn't even their fault. There were a bunch of projects that died like that. Big projects. Projects which even now I would still be eating from, that I stopped. Because I wasn't sure if God wanted me to. It wasn't even, if I could go back and I knew better, maybe I would have. But I also don't know if I would have, because that's the journey I was on.
Yeah.
You get? But I had a lot of people. There were a lot of things in the works under Crooked that stopped. Big things.
Projects.
They stopped. I was now talking about, for one, number one, I first told God, I don't even have to rap anymore. I don't even have to do music anymore. I can be a missionary. Where do you want me to go? We'll go and smuggle books in China. Me, I was ready.
Yes.
And then the response was, I just kept getting more and more songs and more what, So there was that transition where everything, I couldn't listen to certain music. There's a whole album of Kanye's I had failed to listen to, and this was my guy. Like, before Kanye became what he is now, it's just confused.
Yeah.
You
used to
I used to really listen to him, then he did Dark Twisted Fant. I tried to listen to that music and everything in my body just reacted. I had switched, I had flipped.
Yeah.
I flipped as I was doing that, and then I really felt like I was in a place where I could start to build something new in the States. Then I started to have these dreams. And I was in Kampala. And I started to have these dreams, and there were these particular dreams where things were happening to guys I grew up with, pivotal things in their lives.
Yes.
And I kept having those dreams, and I was like, I have a feeling.
Anytime.
I have a feeling I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go back. Like, I had a feeling like these things are telling me that you should at least be considering that maybe that the next chapter of your life should be should be there. And then other people around me who didn't want me to leave started having dreams, started seeing, started what? Yeah, seeing me back. Guys who had never been here.
Yes.
Guys who had never what? They started seeing me back.
They started
like,
having those dreams.
Yeah, they were like, bro. First they were like, you can't leave. We can do ABCD. And they're like, my guy, last night.
But as you were a crooked, what was mommy and daddy back home thinking?
Man,
are they giving up on you at some point? They were like, oh, man,
one of the main reasons they took me to the States was in the hopes that this crooked thing would not stick. Because that crooked thing started here.
Yes.
So they were like, he'll go, he'll, but do you'll find work, he'll what, And it's the US is very, maybe even the UK is like this, but I know for a fact US, at least back then, stable like this. As long as you follow a discipline, you will make money.
Yeah.
Whether the discipline is microbiology, the discipline is engineering, the discipline is even social media, or the discipline is artistry, like entertainment, you will make money. Like I was there before the recession. I went from Uganda, trying to figure things out, to you do a show and someone hands you $400.
$400.
30 minutes. Another person hands you $1,000. 30 minutes. There was a season. As
you
didn't even have to be I didn't even know what the big artists were, because now this was like we were just booking festivals. Like, hey, Ruyonga, where are you from? Ugandan art, what? Of course I had that catalog, what, and then I put out 2 albums that had been reviewed by a site called OK Player.
Yes.
And that OK Player used to review all the big underground artists of that day. So now, if I told them I was on that site, automatic booking, we are starting from 300, 400 above.
Yes.
You get? So life was looking, we were blasting. And my life was, now the money was there, the what was there, but then my life was going personally, was just feeling like it wasn't, then the recession happened, then all that first stopped for a while, and people had to find their footing. There's a lot that happened in that season. Then, as crooked coming into Ruyonga, all that stuff had to change. Not just, even my faith affected everything.
Yes.
You get? So even the African artists I used to know, like, I was still talking to them but weren't doing music. Then I was doing gospel. Then I had these dreams. Then I come back.
You come back, which year is that? 2000?
Like 2010.
2010.
Yeah, 2010. Like, it was at the end of the year. I came back for Christmas, what? I came back.
You had not stepped foot in Uganda?
I'd stepped once in the middle. Like at the 5-year mark or something like that. I'd stepped once. Then, when I come back, I came back with real hardcore gospel.
It was hardcore.
It was
those of you that remember.
Like, I had an album, like raw hip hop but gospel. So now, already raw hip hop in Uganda.
Yeah.
It's not a disappeal to swallow.
So
but now it was also gospel.
2010, those are Katia Bagundi Bevaliwo. The Luga Flow thing had started.
It had started. Had picked.
But Forest was there?
Yeah, like they were at, Big Trill was starting to enter his solo thing. Munji had entered his solo thing.
Yes.
They were still moving as a crew and doing things, but there was at that point where the man's sons had come up. And then LG, then Enigma was doing his thing, the Navios were doing their thing, but now that was the point where guys, I think we had started to get comfortable as hip-hop artists, especially the English section. I think we felt like this side, the guys will always have our backs.
Yeah.
Because the competition was there, but no one, now on this side, guys were getting aggressive. Now the Luga Flow, it also got comfortable. It was there and guys liked it, but guys weren't paying attention to a Gravity who, they were like, that one is not really a Luga Flow guy, but somehow he was getting booked for everything because he was aggressive.
Yes.
Then the dancehall guys were getting aggressive.
Yes.
Then the reggae, like, guys were getting aggressive, like the local music. That they had formed the systems and the networks, and we didn't know that slowly but surely they were going to cut us out of everything just because they were more aggressive.
Yes, they were.
Right? So at the time, we were still enjoying what guys were like, we have Radio City, we have about Hot 100, what? Hey. And we were getting booked. Guys were still getting booked, Now me, I come back. I'm trying to move my things in gospel. I'm trying to move my things in gospel radio stations, what? they are not touching it. As in, it was over too potent. Guys were like, man, even us who are gospel, I can't play this stuff on radio. Like, I don't understand. Like, I thank those guys actually, in a sense. Guys refuse to play my music. Then I see my boy JT, who was in my crew with me from back in the day, and JT was born again also. So we're talking about the journey we had been through and how we had found God, and JT was just playing beats. And then he was like, he played me 2 beats. There's a beat there that had a song called Pesa, which actually did very well when it came out, but then it was done with a Kenyan producer who did strikes on it on YouTube, so he killed it.
He killed it, but Pesa was a beautiful song.
Yeah, it was wonderful, man. And he killed it. But then the other one, stay like this. That one.
Yes.
Okay, I did those 2 songs in like a space of 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
I did those 2 songs at the same time in the space of, they were all done. They were done. I let them be 9 months apart because the plan was have Pesa out, let it do its thing, be big.
Pesa was a beautiful song for those of you that remember. Then this other one, Tutu say.
Then Tutu say dropped, and then everyone started playing it. Now everyone
was like,
now what we would call secular, playing it hard. Then I turn around and then all the gospel guys are now also what?
Yes.
They're also playing heavy. So it shifted me because I understood that, like, it deep down I understood that God is not going to use, is not going to work my thing the same way he works other people's things. Because I felt it wasn't normal. It was beyond the people refusing. It was like God was showing me, now for you, I know you're a person of faith, but I may want you to operate in these spaces. Because, you know, most people people who are of faith, who operate in the commercial space, they never really tell these other Christians that, by the way, you have to deal with a bit of stigma.
Exactly. Yes.
They don't tell people because, and sometimes the levels of stigma, depending on the level of attention you get, they can be very high. So for me, at first, the stigma was moderate because when I came with Tutu, say I was doing God moves, I was doing all this stuff, I was pushing the gospel thing. And me, I'm born again, but like I said, realize, like, even when I put Christ in everything, the commercial songs will go really far.
Yeah, they do.
They would go really far.
They hit.
And the tougher songs would also go, but they were more for the crowd down here. And for a while, it was okay. Then I went through 1 or 2 things. And then I started realizing that my people, I know they love me, they started being like, we support you, but we can't support you openly.
Yeah.
Because now I think the authorities were like, that guy, why is he, why isn't he preaching the gospel in every single line? Why isn't he what? Why isn't he what? And like, now I'm like, for me, I wish you knew. Out here, these guys know who I am. They know who I represent.
Yeah.
But it was a season there where everything stopped because there was a transition. Like, even in the gospel circles, it all stopped. Like, there were a bunch of things that showed up and everything just stopped. And I was, for a while, and that was the time when I was trying to figure out, like, okay, does being born again mean I don't do anything commercial? Or can I try and do both?
Yeah.
So when everything stopped, I took a while, and then I was like, you know, God, from everything I've been picking up, I'm just going to front my God, but I'm going to do commercial music. I'm going to front you, but I'm going to do commercial music. There's no time people won't know who I am. But now let me first enter this space with everybody. And we see what's up. You get it?
Yes.
So there were a few songs that came. I did songs, then of course lockdown happened and what. But me, now at that point, I'd now started back up. Now at that time, actually, by the time lockdown came, hip hop in UG was almost dead. Not in the sense of it wasn't happening, but in terms of the system.
Yes.
The system had now removed it. System wasn't booking it.
Yes.
You could the only people who were booking hip hop were Alliance Front, like those. Those what? Intergovernmental what arts and recreation.
Yes,
in the clubs, what you were not finding, you would only find the Fik Fefe maybe, and everyone who was trying to sound like him. Suspect Laser.
Where about you?
Hey, maybe a Rachel, but it had been except for Gravity, it had been removed.
Would you say Gravity is a hip hop artist?
I would say Gravity raps. Like, it's hard for, like, we're always going to have rappers that we find questionable. You get it?
Yes.
But to say he doesn't rap, I don't know how to do that.
Yes.
Because especially with him, I feel like he wouldn't even be mad if I said he's not a rapper, because for him, his thing's different.
It's different.
It's different, but he's always...
There was that, taking you back to that Luga Flow era.
Yes.
Now, when you have Santana, you have the Moonjis, then Fefe is coming up, Fik Fameka is coming up.
Yep.
It changes the entire dynamic
You
now.
get.
The lyrical G, the Navios, bagamba baluzungu,
Yeah.
ne basoka papula.
So they were there, but it wasn't the same. You get. Now, for me, I was on that side.
Yes.
But the thing that happened was, because everything of mine had stopped, I was in a place, you see, I feel like it's very important for you to get to a place where one phase
Yes.
you completely stops. Because then it can allow you to stop and be like, okay, now, how I think. If I'm starting again. What is the terrain like?
How do we move?
How are we navigating?
Do we need a Land Cruiser or a
like
Lamborghini?
exactly like how are we?
Yes.
Are we doing boats on land or like cars in the water? Like how are we operating?
Yeah.
And it allowed me to realize everything had changed. Everything had changed. Like for me, there was an era where if I came out with a song, I had to go through established radio and TV channels, and once I got on those channels, my song was a hit. Now I get on that, I do that. This guy just comes and does Shifura. He doesn't even do a song.
Yes.
He does a freestyle.
It's like a TikTok thing.
A TikTok freestyle, and he takes over East Africa.
Ooh la la.
You get? And if you, the era I come from does not know how to do that.
Yeah.
But now you have to be taking videos every day. Guys, you see, guys are very confused about Alien. Guys who don't know Alien.
Alien Skin.
Are very confused about how he woke up and Sitya Danger was the biggest song in what? But those who know that the man was on TikTok like every day. He was doing like 5 videos a day, doing nothing. Steps out of a car, TikTok. He says something, TikTok. He's eating them, TikTok. Like, so for him, when he dropped the actual song, he had a built-in fan base.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things my guys didn't understand, you know? And me, I probably wouldn't understand if I wasn't in a place where I'd stopped. And I was like, so what's happening? Especially in lockdown, because I was hung out with the Wanders and the Who's. So that when I had been doing songs, but I knew what to do when I got Pateyani.
With
Wanda
Zex
and
Zex,
Wanda.
yeah.
Because one of the things was, I was also looking at the guys who were moving and making noise and had a different energy. Zex was different. Zex wasn't everyone at the time, like he was different.
Yeah.
He was active during that time when guys were not active. And he had a thing where you felt you could work hip hop with the thing he was doing.
Yes.
You know? And just being able to allow myself to be calm. Not I don't know everything. To come back and first look at these guys who are now there on and see like how do I not come at them like Katienze Don, like I'm the guy. So you tell me. You just do what
like from the same level,
just do what, but just coming like let's collaborate and see what we can do.
So you drop a song,
drop the song, and then
it becomes a hit.
That song kicks off. You know, like it really opened the doors. It reopened the doors, and on a different level. You know, and even now, like because of that, I've been able to do stuff with Legacy and Munubi, Kangos. And even things like that is what have allowed me to do songs like the song I have now that's out with Cindy.
With Cindy, I've seen the song.
Jamming, which is, and they are like, and I'm pushing it now. I'm saying, but even as I'm pushing it, it's moving on its own.
It's moving on its own. Before that, you had started a trend of just getting a song, random song.
Yeah.
You bang a verse. So you go to studio and redo the song, or they send you like
it just depends, because some of them I would talk to them. Others I would just see that other people were already doing challenges.
And then you jump on the sound.
I just jump on the challenge. So for me, I had realized that, man, these guys, you being nice in audio is not enough.
Yes.
They have to see you.
Yeah.
You know? They have to see you. And people have always said, you know, Ruyonga can do anything.
Those TikToks have reached so many places.
They have
so many places because you've jumped on tracks of Nigerian guys, guys from all over the world, even like here,
Africa,
even Kadongo Kamo. You've done everything.
Kali Cartel 5, where I was the Ugandan who represented on Kali Cartel, because of those clips. You know, like But it was also those things of coming to a place of like, you know what, things operate differently now.
Kambala again buli kimu osobola otuulawo.
Yonna.
And when you do it, we feel you're doing it not because you want to prove a point, but because it's love.
That's what I love this stuff.
Yes.
You know? I think thingy, I think you've had Tracy on here talk about.
Tracy
You know, guys
Miller.
do that in the local music. They just sing or they re-sing.
Yes.
For me now, I kind of do the same thing. I just add my own lyrics.
Yes.
You get? I just tweak it and I rap. But it's just the same thing. It's like, you guys, if I hear, you know, Finals JJ, and the song is nice. You know, artists, a lot of us, I don't know, I feel like a lot of us, especially if you're a writer,
Yes.
when you hear a song you like, in your head you're like, if I had also been on this song, I would freak it like this.
Yes.
So for me, I just took it a step further and actually did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it has allowed me to go, man, everywhere, man. Like from Beans things in Kenya to I even do a Tyler in South Africa.
You
like
did, yes.
Like even like guys, and you know, I've gotten international reviews because of, you know, just jumped on Chris Brown's Residuals.
Yeah,
Well,
Residual,
like,
yeah.
those things, they've moved. They've done a lot for me.
And I feel like it's just the beginning.
Oh yeah, each time a couple times.
I can't let you go, of course, without asking about this question that everyone wants me to ask about. There was a season, in your career where people came out and I think someone accused you of rape.
Yeah. Personally, like I feel like we've dealt with those things behind the scenes.
Behind
but
the
in
scenes,
terms of
yeah.
like, to be honest, I did not.
So how does everything even come out? Because some people are still painting that image.
They are.
You know, when you say the name Ruyonga, that's what they see. So I want us to put it to bed once and for all.
I mean,
What
plus,
exactly happened?
If someone feels like like no one has ever come out and accused me. That's the thing that we've had to. Number one, no one has ever come out directly and accused me of that, which I feel is unfair.
Yeah.
If you come and you stand there
And say?
you get it. And then let's have if you're saying that that's let's have a dialogue. But you come out there because like that's always been like it's always been amused me like in the court of public opinion, you don't even have to have someone directly stand there.
I always ask people, if we are in a room, two people and the girl comes out screaming and they're saying, ah! Who are they going to believe?
I don't believe the chick.
Definitely. So how does everything start? Biva kuchi bitandika bitya?
Man, me all I can say is anyone who says that you come directly and as in at least be there, at least be put I've been dealing with the invisible I've been dealing with the invisible accusations the entire like invisible like people literally they don't give a name literally everyone has ever said my friend said Ruyonga did
this.
I'm like I get what you're trying to say is like the person can't come out because they're gone. I'm like, well, that's not fair. You get? Because we've also had situations here where people have been falsely accused. Even when the person names themselves. So you should be able to stand on business. And you come out and speak. You get? Like, because there's nothing I can do otherwise. You get? There is no way to, like, that's the thing. I can't even address that thing because I'm dealing with a ghost. I'm dealing with ghosts.
Yeah.
You get? Yeah.
Has it like, do you feel like it has somehow affected?
I mean, of course, like those things are not, no one wants to, like, no one wants to hear those things. No one wants to be associated with things like, it has affected my brand. And that's the thing is like, you know, whoever is saying, like, just for the mere fact of you need to understand that there's consequences if what you're saying is not true. Because as long as for you you're in the shadows, you have no consequence.
Yes.
You don't have to prove whether it's true or not. Me, on my end,
you do have consequences.
I have consequences. You get?
Do you have someone in mind who could have been capable of doing this?
Man, you know, actually the stories are many. Because now for me, when it happened to me, there was a list of people. And the person who said that was actually taken to, because some of the people who they put in that list were lawyers. And what the lawyers did were like, if you can't bring the person See, for them, they went a step further, and they're like, if you can't bring the person, they just grabbed the person who said it, and they took them inside. Because then they had to go through the consequence. But then it came and it went. But for them, that person, they went in and they went out. But for me, the thing has still followed me.
Oh, it has stuck, yeah.
You get? So at the end of the day, it's like, if that stuff is to be addressed, we address it. Like, but the person should come. Ask them.
And it's addressed.
And it's addressed.
Once and for all.
Yeah.
Luga Flow Hip Hop today, 2025. I mean, we are just transitioning from a phase where we had a sound that was stuck, and now we are getting into the Mpeke Me Too kind of vibes. Now you're bringing us something new with Cindy. How do you see this industry?
I think the potential is high. I think if we just allow ourselves to, number one, continue to experiment, number two, find our authentic sound and continue to build it, but number three, display that sound at an international level.
That is where the biggest challenge is.
That's the you get, like, and know that level means it's going to require more sacrifice, more effort. You're going to have to look for more people to put down more finances and stuff like that. Those are the things. Otherwise, we're just going to keep staying in our circles, and that will never do anything for the music industry, because we've had so many phases of historic, groundbreaking, incredible, world-class musicians who've never been seen on that world class because they didn't take the extra mile to stand on a world stage because of the pressure and the sacrifice that is needed for that. You will never compete with a Diamond Platnumz because he didn't just rule in his place. He presented himself on a world class level. And it must have cost him more. The stories are so many, even when he talks about what happened with David. Like, it cost him, but he had to figure out a way to make that happen. You know? So we have to figure out a way to take the extra step, you know, like, and whether people are doing it as solo art or they're coming together as a group, which would be better. But at the end of the day, guys have to also decide to stand on an international and not just be like, me, I'm bad. If you just came where I'm from and you saw how I did it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Give me feedback on our YouTube section. If you're watching us live, make sure you go and follow Ruyonga, watch his videos, share them as much as possible. He's immensely talented. For those of you that still remember the Crew Kid, you know Ruyonga and you know what he's capable of. He's represented us on several huge platforms, and I still feel like he's just getting started. My name is Mr. Henry. Up until next week, Bera Burunji. The name of the show is The Deep Talk. God bless you.
The Deep Talk with Mr. Henry.